Hi everyone, it's Author Sandra Wilson, and I'm here in the Kindness Kangaroo Library because I have a special update for you. As most of you know, I am founder of the Kindness Kangaroo Project, which means I work in groups with groups of kids and we write books together. And unfortunately, when the pandemic hit, we had a lot of cancellations of these workshops, and I wasn't able to work with these groups anymore. But it's very exciting that we have started up the workshops again, and we just completed a book with a homeschool group, and I now have it here in print, and I'm so excited to share it. Now we are still making, we still have a few rules to comply to in order to make everything still fit the safety, health, and regulations that the pandemic has brought to us. And so we didn't have a big book launch party to go with this book. Instead, the books were delivered to one spot and they're going to be getting to the kids. So I thought, well, let's have a story time then with the book so that everybody can see the great illustrations, hear the wonderful ideas that these kids had for this book, and share in the excitement of having this new book out now. So the new book is for the Robot Rules series. This is a new series that has started, even though there's a few books left in the old series. We're starting a new one because that's always exciting, and this one is called Be Prepared. And the Robot Rules series is all meant to be about problem solving and cause and effect and things like that. And so we got together with a group of kids, various ages. I think we went from 3 to 13 or 14. It was the oldest one that participated in. And we all talked about ideas of, what problem might have to be solved and how could it be solved, how could the robots help, and all those kinds of things. And so the kids had some great ideas, and you may not necessarily pick up on some of the interesting parts of the story. It doesn't change the story for you, but because of the discussions that we had with the kids, there's some parts of it that are just a little bit personal to them, so it makes it an extra special story for them. Not only did their ideas end up in the story, but their drawings did as well, and so I'm so excited to share that with you. And this will end up on the Kindness Kangaroo Library YouTube channel as well, so you can watch it as many times as you want. Okay, so let's start. Robot Rules, Be Prepared. And there we see our first drawing. This is Michaela's, and she's 11. In a make-believe land, on a planet we have never seen, was a world that was simple, a world that was green. Eliana, age 7. People and animals lived together on a land dotted with trees. Each day was just perfect, with a little sun and a light breeze. Here's Abigail's, who's 5. Though the people were always happy because all they had to do was play, they were not prepared for what happened to them one day. Cosette, 15. That was the oldest, 15. The cooking fire was forgotten and left to burn on its own. Along came that light breeze, and sparks from the fire were blown. They traveled with the wind into a collection of leaves, which very quickly ignited and sent flames through the trees. And you can see that in this picture by Zion, aged 9. The animals began to scurry away from their burrows and nests. They called to the people for help, but the people ignored their requests. And there we have all the animals running by the picture there from Gabriella, who was 6. It wasn't that they didn't want to help, they just didn't know a way. They didn't have important skills, they only knew how to play. And Amelia, age 3, drew that picture for us to show all the people didn't know what to do. But lucky for all of them, a secret was buried underground, something that could help them, something the rats had once found. And there Daniel, who's 8, is showing that there's something in the underground. They weren't sure where they came from or what they were meant to do, but now seemed like the right time for the rats to share what they knew. And Elijah, age 6, is showing you there what the rat's secret is. They hurried into the darkness and found just what they would need. They pushed the buttons to get them started. Then all the robots were freed. There we go. John, age 8, is showing all those robots coming to life. The rats pushed all the buttons to turn them on. With beeps and bops, they came to life. They double-checked their tools. They wanted to be prepared to help. That was one of the robot rules. You can see that's where we get the title. And Clayton, who's 6, drew this awesome picture of that robot beeping and bopping, getting ready to go. They followed the rats to the surface and noted the chaos around. Then they grabbed their water guns and sprayed the trees and ground. So Jaden, who's 11, is showing you the robots putting out the fire. Once they had extinguished the fire, they created a plan to fix more. It had ideas for rebuilding homes and making the world as it was before. Olivia, who's 8, is showing this robot who has lots of plans to share. But even though the robots had all the tools to succeed, the skills for rebuilding were what the people would need. So there's Lillian, age 6, who's getting all the tools ready. I just love the little flashing light on the top of this robot. The robots set about teaching all those living on that land what each tool was used for and how to hold it in their hand. So Elsie, who's 4, is got this robot going with some tools to show the people how to rebuild. They learned the skills of building, of painting, welding, and more. They learned that these were needed skills, too important to ignore. And Jaden, 11, again, he's got the teacher robot going. It took some time for all the learning. It took some time to build the skills. But soon there were lots of work going on in the forests and on the hills. And Michaela, 11, drew this great shot of showing a time passing as all these things had to be learned and skills taught. The robots saw that everyone was happy to do the chores, and now the robots knew they weren't needed anymore. And Solomon, who's 14, is showing the robot doing some of the skills. I love that very colorful robot. They programmed all their systems to fly them off into space so they could one day help others in another time and another place. And Israel, who's 11, is showing the robot flying off into space. So maybe they'll find themselves on a new planet and be able to help new people solve their problems, or at least teach them to. So that's the end of the story, and I wanted to show you, this is Jaden, who's 11, and he designed our front cover. And he says, I really want to change the world and make it better with my ideas and creations. So that's really awesome. Thank you, Jaden, for your help. And at the back of the book, we talk a little bit about what we talked about when we were creating the workshop for this book. We had so much fun talking about robots, where they would come from and how they could help, and you can have fun doing this too. So here's a little writing prompt for you. Think about a robot that you might create. What would it look like? Where would it come from? How would it help you? You can draw a picture, tell or write a story about your robot. And if you want to do that and share it with us, we'd really love to hear it. So this book is Robot Rules, Be Prepared. It's brand new and available only from the Kindness Kangaroo Library, which is through the Quite a Character bookstore at www.quiteacharacter.ca. I hope you enjoyed the story, and please let me know so I can tell all the kids how you enjoyed their ideas and their drawings. All right, everybody, see you again.